Hey everybody, it's Hyper, and today I'm going to show you the hands down best method that I have found for cooking meat in SCUM. It's not the best because it's the flashiest or fastest way. It's the best because it is most consistent, simplest, and most efficient way to cook meat without burning it. That way you have a steady supply of meat and protein intake so you can get that strength, dexterity, and constitution high and keep those fat levels low. So without further ado, let's see how it works. Alright, now that we're in our shelter, first things first, you're going to want to have a fire ring. And yes, it has to be a fire ring. It can't be a fireplace. It cannot be a bonfire. It's got to be a fire ring. Don't even bother with using the barbecue. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of space because you have to snap it. You have to build it. And then after it's all built, you have to move the steaks around and find the sweet spot on top of the barbecue. Not worth the time, not worth the effort, and it doesn't even give you a finished product that's any different from cooking it the way I'm about to show you. Same goes for the skewers. The skewers are kind of pointless. They don't really do anything for you other than the fact that you can use them to cook more than one sausage at a time, and that's like the only benefit to them. But after you learn this method, you're not going to be cooking sausages anymore anyways. All right, so first we want to make sure the burning stage of our fire is 0 out of 10. So we're gonna fuel it with some fat, and once it's at 0, we can start cooking. Now, anytime you place a fire ring down, it's going to have this little halo of light around it. And it'll have a second one right over here. You can kind of see it now, but it's much easier to see at night, right? Then the rest of this area is kind of dark. So you're gonna see these rings or halos of light around it. And if you want your steak cooked perfectly every time, not too close to the fire, not too far from it so it burns, you're going to... Actually, I don't even have a steak right now, but I'll spawn one right now just to show you this, right? You are going to place it right on the outer, or the edge between the light halo and the kind of like dim halo around the fire, right? If you place it right on the edge between the two, it'll start warming up pretty quickly. Hey guys, you could pause the video right here and take a look at this screenshot to see what I mean by that difference in brightness and color and these light halos around the fire. You can pause it and kind of gauge it for yourself depending on your visual settings in game. But anyways, if you put it on the spot I tell you to, it'll cook perfect every time. Now let's get back to the video. Notice it's already hot and raw. Now we'll move it a little bit further away because we don't want it to burn. And we're going to keep checking the taste. And look, it's instantly hot. 0 out of 10. You want to orient it like that right on the edge of that light. And it's going to be the same every time you do it, right? Now, if you're in a single player world, you do not need to move the steak around. You could just sit here and check the taste until it is completely cooked all the way through. If you're on a multiplayer server, you want to move the steak back and forth along this line right here because you want to update the steak in the server. So the server knows to tell you that the steak is changing status from hot or warm to slightly cooked to fully cooked, okay? So single player, you don't need to move it. Multiplayer, definitely move it. Now the next thing is, while it's cooking, you want to listen for a change in the sound. As you could hear when it was warm, it wasn't really sizzling or popping, but now that it is hot, you can hear that it's sizzling and popping and cracking in the background. Now we're going to sit here and just watch the steak, and we're going to listen for a change in how the sizzling and popping sounds so we can tell when it is going up and cooking more and more thoroughly. In my experience, it takes around 5 minutes to cook a steak with this method, and you can cook more than one at once. Typically, I'll cook around 4 to 5 steaks placed along this line around the fire, and it hasn't failed me yet. All right, now you're gonna notice as the fire stage went from 0 to 1, it went from warm instead of hot. So we're gonna fuel the fire with fat again, and the steak should go from warm to hot. This is just one of the things you have to make sure you do as you're cooking. It's just keeping the fire at stage 0. You won't have to worry about moving the steak forward or back or burning it. Now we're just gonna check the taste, and it's back to hot and slightly cooked. And it should cook pretty quickly now that we've just fueled the fire up all the way back to 0. So let's just keep cooking it. And there you go. Did you hear how the sizzling got really intense right there? That is a cooked steak for you. So we're just gonna pick it up, and we are going to place it on the table so you can see something. All right. So now that this is cooked, you're gonna place it down. You're gonna notice it looks a little bit different. There, it's got that nice like red brownish color with those grill marks on it, so we know it's a cooked steak. Down here, we're going to have a raw steak, right? And the raw steak, as you can tell, looks completely raw. This one doesn't necessarily look completely cooked, but it's definitely cooked in comparison to that one. So there you go, there's the difference. You can hear the sound changes, the color changes, and just by leaving it right on that line of light around the fire, that little bit of ring, and keeping the fire fueled at 0 out of 10, it will cook perfectly like this every time. And once you get the hang out of it, you're gonna be doing this, and it's so much easier. It's better than cooking sausages, it's better than cooking on a barbecue. It is hands down the easiest and best method for cooking in SCUM. Now, on another note, some people are saying, oh, well, it's not working for me. This will work for you anywhere on the map, especially if you do it like this. My recommendation is, one, you shouldn't cook out in the open unless you're like in a single player world. If you're in PvP and you cook food out in the open, you are asking to be sniped, right? So cook in a shelter. This will maintain a better temperature inside and more consistency, and it allows you to just be safe from the elements such as puppets and animals and other players. The next thing is people are saying, oh, well, if it's too cold outside or you're in the snow, this method doesn't work because the fire needs to be hotter. That is completely false. I will show you at the end of this video, actually in these next few clips, on why that is false. This method will still work 100% in the coldest environments on the map. So let's go see. We're gonna take this steak up. We're going to fuel the fire with fat, just like we normally would. Gonna light the fire and put the steak down just to show you that it does not matter what zone you're in. It doesn't matter what the weather's like. You can still cook in the snow, right? So let's take the steak and let's put it on the ground. And the firing method works in the snow as well. What I have found, though, is you do put the steak slightly closer to the fire, which is kind of nice because if you look around the ring of the map, the two separate rings are closer into the fire than they would be in a warmer section, right? So just put the meat close to it, and you're going to start to see that this does work. It's warm, raw, and it will move to the hot, raw stages as well, just like it normally would anywhere else. Make sure your fire is at 0 out of 10, and you space it far enough from the fire, and you will get it cooking, I promise you. I don't know why people are speculating that the snow would make it harder to cook meat. It does not. If the fire is going, the fire is going. Let's give it a little bit of time, and I will show you. And here you go. Here's proof. As long as the goat steak gets hot, it is warm enough to start cooking. And this is me just proving, whether you're outside, inside, in the snow, in the hotter areas, or really anywhere in the map, it does not matter. This method still works just like it normally would anywhere else. All right, so let's just put that myth to rest. Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed that video on how to cook the best way in SCUM, and that you'll be able to use it in your PvE and PvP playthroughs further on in this wonderful game that is SCUM. So I'd like to give a shout out really quick before we leave to Sector 7 server. Go check them out. I have a new base out there, and I've met a new group of friends there, and I'm having a blast there. I worked out something with the server owner, so if you guys send a link to one of the admins and you tell them Hyper sent you after the day I upload one of these videos with this message in it, they will be able to give you $2,000 of in-server currency that you could spend on whatever you want. It's a cool server, it's literally free money, and maybe I'll see you guys there. Now, aside from that, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. Again, I'm just doing this as a hobby right now. It's kind of something to hold me over while I'm working out some medical and personal issues in my life. And I'm just, you know, I enjoy it. I like doing this. So maybe I could do it full time one day. Who knows? Anyways, in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what I could be doing better, what you would like to see me do in the future, and what I can improve on. If you don't like this, tell me why. All right? So be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I will be releasing a streaming schedule and recording schedule soon. That way you guys have a better idea of when and what I will be uploading in the future. That way my content could just be much more streamlined and higher quality. So thanks for watching. I love you all. See you next time. Peace.